Hello again for another episode of the Wisdom of the Tarot. Today we're talking about judgment. Now, this is a card when people pull, they're kind of a bit freaked because they think that they are being judged. This is not a card of being judged. This is a card about self-awareness and self-judgment. And when I say self-judgment, I don't mean that you beat yourself up or anything like that, but you just look at where you are. And this is an important card, actually. So in the card, you see this angel figure, this being of light, blowing the trumpet, calling up the figures who are almost like newborn. They're naked, they're newborn. So it's a rebirth. It's a rebirth in one's life. And the rebirth comes from all the work that you've done in your exploration, most particularly your exploration of self. Now, last week we mentioned the moon and what that meant in terms of the possibility of delusion. So when you look at yourself, hopefully with love, not with cruel judgment, but when you look at yourself, you need to really look into the machinations of your mind. Very often, people make excuses for what they've done or what they are. Intent is everything. So it's looking at one's intent. I have found that the greatest trauma is not what we would expect, is not always bereavement or loss of house or anything like that. The greatest difficulty people find is to admit that they have deluded themselves. And I have to tell you, most people don't get to that. They'll make all sorts of things up, excuses and this and that. They'll blame. They'll go into the blame game. It was somebody else's fault. It was something that happened in the past life. It was something that happened to me as a child. And it is true that we are affected by all these things. But as an adult, and particularly on the spiritual path, you need to dissolve those negativities. There is no excuse good enough to walk forward. So when you look at yourself, remember, if you believe in past lives, you know that we've all been tortured and we've all been the torturer. But here we are in this life. And so we need to look to ourselves in love and compassion and be honest, be scrupulously honest with ourselves. There is a saying, judge not lest ye be judged. So this isn't about judging someone else, but it is about looking at yourself. And when you look to yourself and free yourself from all the delusions, free yourself from all the excuses, free yourself from the negativities, you are reborn. And this card is about being reborn. The naked people in this card shows us that there is bright future, there is loving future, that we can, in a sense, almost start again. So it's a new life in this life. So this is a really powerful card. And it's one that says to us, okay, you've come a long way. You know, this card is 20 in the pack. You've come a long way. You've gone through all sorts of things, maybe things that have been extremely hard, but you've looked willingly and you've taken responsibility for your own life and, most importantly, your own truth. So this is a positive card saying that, yes, now you can be reborn. You can come into the world naked and free. So I hope you enjoy this card. And remember, it's not about judging others or worrying about how others judge you. We talked about that when we talked about the Hanged Man. It's about knowing yourself, being yourself, honest with others, and true, scrupulously true to yourself, with, of course, always love. Go well.